position in the Red Bull MotoGP Rookies Cup. Congratulations, great job. What are your expectations for the races?
Well, obviously you want to win, don't you? So the goal is to win. So we'll just keep working, we'll keep digging at it, and at the end of the day it will end up coming. So we'll keep working and see you on the top step.
Well, all the best of luck.
Thank you very much.
And the last English winner was Brad Ray back in 2013. So the English have not done. The Scots have done better since then, but the English have really suffered since Brad Ray's last victory.
Yeah, well, never mind. Obviously, Brad Ray doing the business in the British Superbike Championship these days, isn't he? I mean, that's the thing about Rookies Cup. 20 years in the game now, isn't it? And you've got stars doing the business all around the world, national, continental, and international as well. But how special is this then down on the grid? We have two French riders with us this year, of course. One of them is Guillaume Plonk, starting his third. He's down on the grid with Dominica.
Guillaume, ninth on the grid in your home GP. How does it feel to be racing in your home crowd?
Yeah, I feel very good for the race, and yeah, I'm just focused now to do one podium or one good result.
Well, I wish you all the best of luck. Full gas.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, good lad. Well, Guillaume, he had a pretty solid outing here in yesteryear, if I remember rightly, actually. Guillaume certainly put in some good performances, invited back once again this season. What do we expect from him here, Peter?
Well, I think, you know, he is going to be buoyed by the home crowd, of course, and propelled. And, of course, you know, he's got very much a battle with the Costa to be the best Frenchman, and they start beside each other on the grid. So that's going to be very exciting to watch, I think. Just they'll be pushing each other along, certainly. Of course, poor old Guillaume had a lousy time of it in France. He had a rare technical problem in the first race and fell off, not to his own fault, in the first lap of the second race. So he comes here with 0 points at all, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, then for hopefully good luck to him today. We do have Beñat Fernandez on pole position, as I said. And, of course, when we last left you, you might have seen Beñat Fernandez actually crossed the line in 4th position last time out, but he ended up getting 3rd after a late change due to Marulanda actually going over track limits on the final corner.
Yeah, and Beñat was very quick. Somebody had obviously told him what had happened. I don't think he'd seen it, but one of his mates or supporters told him what happened, and he jumped on that very quickly after the race.
Yeah, exactly that. Let's have a quick rundown of the starting grid then before we get going. Fernandez pole, Mounsey 2nd, David Gonzalez in 3rd. Carlos Cano was pole position last time out. He starts from 4th position on the grid ahead of Fernando Bajosa, 2-time podium finisher last time out. Christian Daniel fills out the 2nd row. Kyatsaq Singapong 7th from Travis Borg and Guillaume Plonk. David Costa 10th from Matteo Marulanda, and Kiandra Ramadipa, our winner from race 2 in Jerez. We go to Ojiwara in 13th ahead of Alfonso Dakigan, and Tibor Varga in 15th place. Now we're absolutely steaming through the grid there. One name down the bottom of the timesheets after qualifying, well, bottom of the grid, Yaroslav Karpushin, Peter. Podium last time out, but why is he down the back there?
Yeah, well, there are a lot of penalties at the end of the racing yesterday because of people riding too slowly. So, in fact, Karpushin, Tinez, Almeida and Jurien van Kruijten were all penalised and all pushed to the back of the grid, pushed behind Luca Agostinelli, even though Luca never actually recorded a time in qualifying because his bike was trashed in the last of the free practice sessions. So anyway, they all got a fresh start now, the warm-up lap.
Yeah, exactly that. So let's see then. We have Beñat Fernandez, 1st position in the championship. Pole position here today. Kandra Ramadipa, 2nd place. Fernando Bajosa, 3rd. Mike Yu, Singapong in 4th. And Yaroslav Karpushin 5th. Christian Daniel, 6th, Peter. I think it's pretty well all to play for, although Beñat Fernandez does have a, 7-point lead already in the championship. Long way to go in the championship.
Well, there is, but I mean, Beñat is feeling super confident. You know, Dominica interviewed him there after practice. He's even more confident than he showed there. He said, he said to me, "Look, I can go quicker than I went in practice." And I talked to him just, an hour ago, and I said, "Look, what do you expect?" He said, "Well," he said, "I'm going to try and break away." If I can, I will disappear. If I can't, then I'll just see how things settle and let it all settle down and wait towards the end of the race. And, you know, he told me where his favourite overtaking positions are, so we can really judge whether the race runs according to Benyat. But he is going into this super confident.
Sullivan Mounsey, of course, as we heard, got his best result ever in Rookies Cup in qualifying. Said actually him and Benyat were working together, and hopefully he was going to have a little chat with him to see if they could work together again today in the race.
Yeah, I don't know whether that's going to work, but yeah, Benyat said he was really happy to run with Sully. He said he'd much rather be have Sully behind him guarding his back than some of the other competitors, which he really didn't want looking over his shoulder.
Well, there he is then, lining up, ready to go. The last ever World Supersport 300 champion, Benyat Fernandez. Will he be in hot contention for a Rookies Cup championship this year? Carlos Cano there, 71, pole position last time out, 4th today.
And of course, Benyat won here last year. He got a single Rookies Cup win, and that was here last year.
He exactly knows what he's got to do. The green flag waves at the back. Here we go then.
So we're ready for 15 laps of Red Bull MotoGP Rookies Cup action. Who's going to get the start? Is Benyat going to do it from pole? He gets rolling very, very well. Sully tucks in behind him. This is going according to plan for Sully at the moment, because
from 5th on the grid, slots into 3rd, but there's a big old run up towards 3rd through turns 1 and 2. Now into turns 3 and 4, would you believe it? Bahosa nearly up the inside of Mounsey. Mounsey continues in 2nd place. Christian Daniel round the outside there on the number 70. The American looking for 4th, 3rd position even, round the outside of Bahosa, but no, Bahosa cuts the inside, so it's all as they were. 1, 2, 3, Fernandez, Mounsey and Bahosa.
And as I say, Benyat wants to split. He says, I'm going to try and break away right from the start. I think he'll be cautious enough just to let the tyres really warm up in the first lap, but he's already things working according to plan. Number
70 and 71 battling it out for 5th position. Cano back up into 4th position. Then he's got David Gonzalez, the 11 behind him. A terrible start from the Spaniard, pushed down to 6th. Ogiwara up into 7th place from 13th on the grid, row 5. What a start for the Japanese rider.
And don't forget, Bahosa and Cano, they're both first-timers here in Le Mans. Both of them said they really like the track. They love the stop-go. It really matches both of their styles. They said they're really happy here.
Shout out to the Frenchies, Plonk and Acosta. 8th and 9th for the Frenchmen at the moment. The fans will love that. Still plenty of them around after the MotoGP sprint. We come into the stadium section for the first time. Beautiful positive camber all through this segment here.
And talking to Cano and Bahosa actually before the race, they said it's really interesting here at Le Mans because the first part of the track is big and wide. He said, and then this last bit, it's more like a go-kart track. It's so narrow and twisty.
Yeah, well, there they go, out in the final corner then for the first time. Across the line we come, 7 leads from the number 4, from the 69, 70, 97. That was almost very nice indeed. Cano, though, pushed in the last sector back to 8th place across the line. Got Travis Borg for company in 9th position. You'll remember he had a cracking ride in race 2 at Jerez before his chain came off.
That's right. Now, this is where we will see whether Benyat Fernandez can stick to his plan. He is going to try and split. The tyres are well warmed through now. He can give it his all. Let's see if he can get away, and let's see if Sullivan Mounsey can tuck in his slipstream.
Yeah, really, really impressive from Mounsey, really willing him on to do something special in his 3rd year. This is the kind of thing you expect from riders entering year 3 in Rookies Cup, and he really tries to cut the nose of Bahosa, and then 3 abreast out through Museum Corner. Bahosa up the inside, then he takes 2nd place, and it's as you were, like in race 1, Jerez. It's Benyat Fernandez versus Fernando Bahosa.
And it's almost as though Bahosa heard what we were saying, and he knew that Benyat was going to try and split because he doesn't want to give him the chance. He wants to tuck right into his slipstream from the wet go.
Well then, we've got Travis Borg then on the prowl as well, through up into 8th place, but it's Ogiwara, the most impressive rider so far, the 97. Ryota Ogiwara up into 4th position. Wowee, the rider, graduate from the Asia Talent Cup, Motor 4 Asia Cup, I should say, already moves up another spot. I think near enough. Is it fourth position? Oh, fourth position, sorry. He was just nearly getting overtaken by Gonzalez behind him.
And Alguerra, of course, this is his first time at Le Mans as well. He said he's loving it as well. He scored 8 consecutive victories in the Asia Cup last year, so brilliant. He knows how to win races.
Yeah, certainly does. How special is this then, of course? So we go across the line. Beñat Fernandez, what, about half a second lead now, and Alguerra up in the second place. The Japanese rider, what a ride this is. This is the kind of thing you'd expect from when the weather in Le Mans turns a bit brutal as Bahosa scythes his way through on Mounsey, pushes him wide and invites David Gonzalez through turns 3 and 4 as well. Up into third position goes Gonzalez.
Yeah, and really Sully's got to hang on to this because he's getting beaten up left, right and centre at the moment, and Beñat is just disappearing over the horizon already, exactly going to the young Spaniard's plan.
The other rider sticking with this group then, Christian Daniel Jr., 6th position then for the American, number 70. That's where he qualified, as we see what happened coming out the final corner. Bahosa, wow, goodness me, getting all sorts of crossed up onto the start and finish straight.
And Sully went off on the green there, so he's got to watch that. There are a lot of these sections. There's the number 4 off on the green, and in this final section there's a lot of green patches. Far too many opportunities for the guys to exceed track limits.
Oh, we got a rider down in the background there, not sure who it was, can't see exactly at that moment, but we do have all the leaders still, as it were. Alguerra into second place now. Really impressive. It is the number 10 who's gone down.
Alfonso Almeida.
Oh,
Alfonso Almeida, the Portuguese rider, the 16-year-old.
Starting from near the back of the grid, unfortunately, one of the riders with the grid penalties, wasn't he? Qualified 19th, but pushed back down onto the final row of the grid, I think it was. Right,
so Beñat Fernandez, he had split, but he's been caught now by the Japanese ace, and really has been caught by Ryota Alguerra, the 17-year-old Japanese.
Yeah, really impressive this from the Japanese rider. Go for broke, go for first. David Gonzalez gets it though, pushes them both wide through turns 1 and 2. Into turns 3 and 4 we go. Gonzalez, he crashed out of race 2 in Jerez last time out. He was gutted about that because this is the kind of year which he wants to be supremo win. Him versus Beñat Fernandez, surely one of the favourites for the title this year, but it really was advantage Beñat leaving Jerez.
Yeah. And I think, you know, Gonzalez and Fernandez are expected to do great things this year. They were the sort of the best of the Spanish staying in the Cup, really, after last year. They're both in the second year in the Rookies' Cup, and they're now showing just how good they are at the head of the field.
Ramadipa, our winner from last time out, in 13th position, not seeing the same kind of form as we had last time out, but Sullivan Mounsey there, just getting a little bit crossed up under braking, but looking more solid, touch wood, in 4th position now. He's sort of gathered his thoughts. Bahosa's behind it, Christian Daniel's there, so it's a group of 6, a 12-wheeler as we march on, although it's about to become a 14-wheeler. Travis Borg catching Christian Daniel at the back there.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because, you know, Beñat had the opportunity there. He got away. He got, you know, almost a second advantage, but that has evaporated completely. It's now become just a mass of riders, at least the top 8, all in a bunch.
We look back from the number 7. Championship leader at the moment into the stadium section. Bit of drama there in the MotoGP sprint, but not any of the sorts here this time around in Rookies' Cup. Across the line they come. It'll be 11. Leads from 7, leads from 4, from 97. Alguerra, hey, hats off, man. That is an absolute ride and a half so far. He's neck and neck with Mounsey then. They are giving it everything they've got for a debut podium in Rookies' Cup here, but plenty other riders for company too. Mounsey up the inside in the second place. Go on, Sully. That is as smooth as you like.
He said, and that's off on the green again, though. He's got to watch that. He said something clicked here. He said, I really feel great. I feel that I can do what I've known I've been able to do. Just hasn't really got it together in the last 2 years. He said, now I really believe I can do it.
Yeah, absolutely cracking. Really good stuff. 2 Spaniards at the front then. Beñat Fernandez at the inside along with Mounsey too. Museum corner. Such a different choice of lines there, Peter. How come that's going on there?
Well, it's so wide, and actually Beñat said that is his favourite overtaking manoeuvre going into the left-hander of Limousin. He says if I don't do it here, I'll do it down at the bottom where you are now, into this tight double right-hander. So that was his favourite overtaking manoeuvre, and he exploited it absolutely perfectly up the inside.
It's one rider not really mentioned thus far. 7th place qualification for Singapore. He's in 9th place now. So on the opening laps, got beaten up quite a bit. Our would-be podium finisher, Matteo Marulanda, 27 in 8th position, up from 11th on the grid.
So this leading group of what is it, of 7 guys, they've got a 1.5 second advantage over the chasing pack. We know historically that, you know, 1.5 seconds can very quickly disappear in Rookies Cup, but I don't know whether, you know, that's going to be closed, whether Matteo Marulanda has the pace, the 15-year-old Colombian, to close that gap on the leading 7.
Guillaume Plonk moving up as well then. 10th position for the Frenchman. Heard from him on the grid. He got 8th and 5th here last year, so a really great performance. He'll be looking to try and better that over the course of today and tomorrow. But Smooth Sully up the inside into 2nd place again, that time on David Gonzalez.
Right, so the number 7 at the front again. Benyat has another chance to break away from this group. And really the guys behind, led by Sully, can't, and David Gonzalez can't muck each other around, otherwise Benyat is going to break away from them.
Carlos Cano, the number 71, in 11th spot at the moment. I expect a little bit more from him, to be honest, but clearly really good at the 1-lap pace on these Rookies Cup KTMs, but struggling a little bit in the races for some reason.
It's well interesting talking to a lot of these guys who practice. Quite a few of them really didn't change the motorcycles at all. Really happy with the way that the KTM bikes with the WP suspension are working, and a lot of them just said, you know, I just concentrated on my riding, didn't feel I had to touch the motorcycle, and that was certainly true of Benyat Fernandez. He just said, I just worked on myself, and he said, I know that I can go even quicker than I did in practice.
Fernando Bujosa just calmly sitting there, and number 69 just ahead of Christian Daniel in 7th spot. They are a little bit splitting ever so slightly between Ogiwara and Sullivan Mounsey, or even back to Travis Borg there. We got yellow flags in sector 4. Someone's gone down, not sure who it is yet. Looks like it's Tibor Varga who's gone down, the Hungarian, the number 47 from Moto E last year, down and out of the race. Because
it's very different from going on the giant Moto E bikes, these you know, M3 Moto3 spec KTMs, but he's done a super job so far. Very sad to see him fall off at the moment. So the number 7 still leads. Benyat Fernandez from David Gonzalez, a fellow Spaniard. Travis Borg up to 3rd position then. Really, really good stuff from the Maltese rider. There is the Hungarian trudging away after a crash here in race 1 at Le Mans. But Travis Borg then, after we saw such a great performance in Jerez before it was curtailed by that lost chain at the end of the back straight, this is really, really good to see. Right, and we've still got 8.5 laps to go. We're not even halfway through the 15 laps. Finn Cotterichel, that's a disaster. Yeah. So sad to see that. Yeah, and we had an unusual number. Too many fallers in practice. No injuries, but really this Le Mans circuit is catching the guys out. Of course, we had hardly any fallers in the races in Jerez. That was really superb. Not doing as well today. Tocqueville crashing out of 19th position. Says actually stopped with a technical issue then on our timing
well,
screen.
It's technical now. It's yeah, quite right. So as we look back then, Smooth Sully has dispatched Travis Borg momentarily, pushed him back down to 4th position. I'm really impressed with Sullivan Mounsey. This is the exact kind of performance he needs to start putting in his 3rd year of Rookies Cup. But Travis Borg says, hey mate, I'm in year 1 and I'm sending it out the inside then in the final sector. That's a bold place to make a move like that early on in the race. He clearly thinks he's the man to close that gap up to Gonzalez and Benyat Fernandez as they cross the line once again. Yeah, they've got to watch out, because David Gonzalez and Benyat have got the ability to really put the hammer down now. Let's see, that chasing pack cannot afford to muck each other up. No, and it's only a second's gap between Bujosa and Singapore, between 7th and 8th, so they need to be careful. Half race distance, and actually this 14-wheeler could become substantially more than that, all the way down to 10th with Guillaume Plonk. Yeah, it was only a lap ago that I said it was 1.5 seconds, so half a second has disappeared already, and that closing pack are going to join these 7 at the front. Well, here we go then, through Museo Corner. look back at David Gonzalez. A prime overtaking spot here. Will we see one? No. Beñat Fernandez hard on the brakes, but Travis Borg doesn't need a second invitation. Through he goes. Very cool, calm, collected. Keeps his line. Boosts it out of Garage Ver, and down the back straight they come once again.
As you said, the Maltese rider in his first season is doing a fantastic job.
David Gonzalez, so up the inside once again then, though, isn't he?
And that group has closed up again, so the slight advantage that Beñat and Gonzalez had has disappeared. And this is what the guys were saying, it's more like a go-kart track. And of course, these chaps, they still do train on go-kart tracks and that. They train on all sorts of motorcycles, on all sorts of circuits, so they'll be just as at home here as they will any other part of the track.
Beñat Fernandez running right out towards the green then, does need to be careful, but kept it just about on circuit officially there. Then he leads across the line once again. Christian Daniel making moves in the background up to 5th position across the line, and they fan out in towards turns 3 and 4. Ogiwara, the 97 in the back of shot, through into 4th position. Borg up into 2nd ahead of Gonzalez this time.
And I was talking to Danny Ribalta, and he was saying that the tyres seem to be standing up very well to the hard work here at Le Mans. He mentioned that the tyres that they used in one of the free practice sessions they would certainly be using again. So I don't think that loss of grip and tyre wear is going to be a huge factor in this. Although they do, of course, drop off. The great things about the Pirelli is that they have tremendous feel, so the guys can feel exactly where the grip is going.
Mike Yu chasing down the leaders then. 8th position for Singapore. 0.8 the gap now. Another couple of tenths. 7 laps to go. That is more than doable to really reel in this group. He's going to do it, I think, Peter, because Christian Daniel, Bahosa and Sullivan Mounsey getting all involved with each other in the back of shot. They really are going to be getting in each other's heads a bit. They don't want to be the last of this group. They want to be making waves towards the podium positions. Don't want to let the leading quartet get away.
So Beñat Fernandez is lapping in the low 145s. He did a 144.57 to get pole, so he's within a second of his pole time.
It's a bit of a yo-yo in there, depending on the sectors as well, because Ogiwara and the leading quartet eked out a 4/10 gap earlier on, but now it looks as though they're all together once again. But as they cross the line, it's still just under a second back to Marulanda now in 8th between him and Mounsey.
Now, there is a similarity here to Jerez in that the last corners here are a lottery if you end up with a pack like this going into the last corners, just as it is in Jerez. And we saw how that shook out in race 2 in Jerez, how the result changed in that final corner. So really, we know very well that Beñat and the guys at front don't want it to be an 8-rider battle into the last 2 corners here in Le Mans.
Mounsey just getting dropped a little bit, looking back to see who's coming. And Sully, you've got to keep your eyes forward. That's your man right in front of you. Bahosa, he's your enemy, your opponent. That's the rider that you need to be overtaken. Don't worry about anybody else. Just ride your race. We've got Gonzalez out front now. Ogiwara looks up the inside of Borg, but Borg just lets his brakes off. Absolutely brilliant stuff. I'm so impressed with the Maltese rider. Really am.
And it's great to see the Maltese cross on his helmet, doesn't it? Makes it easy to spot the number 23 even when you can't see his number.
Yeah, tip of the hat to him for the commentators as he goes up to 2nd place now ahead of Beñat Fernandez. This is one of the best parts of the circuit for me. That left-right chicane is so fast on these small capacity machines. I was watching the bikes there yesterday.
Yeah,
that was Fernandez
great.
Right up the inside. He really took him by surprise. You can see him flinch almost. Goodness me.
And the other thing to remember about this, of course, is if it comes down to the last lap, you've got all this green paintwork around in these last corners. And if you touch that on the last lap, that's you'll automatically get a penalty.
Gonzalez, Fernandez, Borg. 1, 2, 3. Ogiwara in 4th position, ahead of Christian Daniel. Bahosa 6th. Mounsey 7th. The gap, though, back to 8th place. Marulanda crossed the line in 3rd last week. The other week, finished up 4th. He is half a second back now. That seems to me like these guys have been caught.
That's right, and if you look back down this timing, Carpuchin and Pugliese are 13th and 14th, just set their fastest lap of the race. So, they're all closing up, really, on this leading group.
Yeah, 2 seconds the gap down from David Acosta. David Acosta's group, yeah, 2 seconds just off the next one of Singapore in 10th. And wow!
Goodness gracious! Was that Ramadipa? I did. The number was blurred there, just to who touched who. That was overly dramatic. Anyway, 5 laps to go. We don't need to any closer than that. Right, so it is David Gonzalez who has the advantage, but not by much over Beñat Fernandez.
Yes, the first lap I've really not been, race I've not been paying attention to the laps, I've just been keeping an eye on positions and things. And actually, the leading group, Peter, compared to the chasers, they're a good half a second slower at the moment.
Yeah.
So it's almost as if no one really wants to lead, or maybe they're conserving tyres. But then, as you say, with Danny Ribolta, how the rider coach saying that the tyres are really holding up, they don't really need to. So is it just a case of no one really wants to lead? What do you think?
Well, you know, I mean, obviously, you know, Beñat said he would try and get away if he could, and he's tried at least twice, and he's not been able to do that. You know, I say the tyres stand up well. Of course, the edge goes off them. There's no doubt about that. So maybe, you know, Beñat and the guys are trying to save just that little tiny bit to the end. Now, as you pointed out, Ogiwara did a superb job of coming through to the front. Do you think he's the guy who's got something in reserve?
I mean, it looks like they've all got it, Peter, because once again, the fastest rider actually that time around was Plonk with a 44.7. That is half a second quicker than your leader, David Gonzalez. No wonder that this is now a 20-wheeler, basically. You got Singapore in 10th place on the back of this. That's Bahosa having another moment at 69 in the back of shot at the final corner. Unfortunately, though, bad news for Carlos Cano fans. He's entered the pits as a technical issue and retirement.
Oh, that's a tough luck on him now. Ogiwara, so, you know, he's now up in 2nd place. He looks very good at it. You know, it's his first season, it's his first time at Le Mans. He said, I absolutely love the place, having a great time, and it shows. Look up the inside of the number 11, David Gonzalez.
Wow.
The Japanese takes the lead.
Goodness me.
Right on his tail is Beñat Fernandez. So Ogiwara, head down now, down the back straight, up from 1st gear to 2nd, up to 6th gear, 210 kilometres an hour, 130 miles an hour before they brake and go back to 3rd or even 2nd gear sometimes for the tight left-hander.
And the riders cut it so fine there, running down the back straight. Then some of them basically clip the grass and trim the edges, as we see Fernandez go up the inside of Ogiwara that time. Christian Daniel doesn't need a second invitation either. He's trying around the outside. Is he going to rail it? No. Ogiwara manages to salvage something, maintains 3rd position. But here we go. As they cross the line then, let's take a look at the lap times, because I think this is all completely packed up again. They cross the line. It's Gonzalez leads. He sets a 145.4. This is so slow, Peter. This is almost ridiculous. But maybe the lap times the tyres are starting to lose their edge, because actually that's the same pace as the chasers, even beyond 10th place now. So who knows what's really going on?
Yeah, that's right. You feel like you want to talk to the guys and say, yeah, stop mucking about and get on with it.
Yeah.
You know, there's the number 4. That is the number 4. That's Sullivan Mounsey in 7th place. He started, you know, on the front row. He's going to be desperately disappointed if he doesn't do better than this. Well, I suppose it might be his, you know, one of his best results ever, but, you know, he really wants more than 7th place out of this one.
If Mounsey finishes here, that would be his best result yet in Rookies' Cup. Thoroughly deserved too. But
that's right. Best result here was 9th last year in the second race.
That. So 2.5 laps to go. It's still the Spaniards out front. Christian Daniel, the American, 3rd position for now. Ogiwara 4th. Just behind him, Bahosa now has recovered somewhat. The 69, a couple of out-of-seat moments.
And Christian Daniel's up to 3rd place. I think that's the highest we've seen him in this race.
Yeah,
maybe he's been conserving his energy.
Yeah, exactly. 2 podiums last year, one in Jerez, one at the Saxon Ring. 5th place and a 4th as well were his best results. He's looking for much more than that this season.
Yeah, he looked like a guy who could win a race at times last year, didn't it? It just didn't happen, but maybe his chance is here. He's in 3rd place, looking really strong ahead of the Japanese, who gets pushed back by the number 69 of Fernando Bahosa.
Through the final corner they come then. It will be the penultimate lap. 2 to go, and it's still David Gonzalez leads. Beñat Fernandez second, but this time Christian Daniel third. Bahosa does not have any scary moments coming out of the final corner. Daniel 70 up the inside, and number 7 and
Three
number
abreast.
11 into the lead he goes, the American. But will he guard his line successfully? No. Beñat Fernandez goes up the inside this time around, and let's have a look at what's actually happened through the first set of corners. Gonzalez pushed back to 4th because it's Bahosa now in 3rd place.
But that was a super move. He didn't pay off, he didn't get the win out of it, but a super move for Christian Daniel Jr., wasn't it? Going into the chicane there. Absolutely brilliant stuff.
Fernandez just looking really calm, collected, pretty clever at the moment, is our series leader. Backing it in to Museum Corner for now then. Down the mini sort of back straight we've got here. Big braking zone coming up. Borg running wide, trying to run around the outside of Marulanda, who's come into the fray now. 3rd position, he crossed the line last time, was actually 4th, didn't get the podium. He wants one here today, obviously.
Beñat does not want to let this run like this, sort of 8 or 10 guys battling to the last corner. That's what happened in race 2 in Jerez. He went into the last corner first and crossed the line 4th. So he doesn't want that this time. He's going to try and do whatever he can in this last lap and a few corners. And he is making a break for it.
A few riders going wide in the back of shot there. I think that was Mounsey and Borg together, taking each other wide and potentially out of podium contention, but don't count them out just yet. Who knows? Fernandez got about, what, half a second gap now. He's ekes out in this last sort of sector. He comes through the final complex of corners. Christian Daniel, hot on his tail, wants to reel him in to try and get that win here today. Keep it off the green, gents. We start the final lap. It will be series leader Fernandez leads for Christian Daniel. Gonzalez 3rd, and who will be in 4th position? Ogiwara versus Bahosa, 2 rookies in Rookies Cup.
But the number 11 of David Gonzalez picks up the slipstream. The number 70 of Christian Daniel has a slipstream as well. They close right up, but the 69 goes inside. Whatever advantage Beñat Fernandez had coming onto the start and finish straight has disappeared. He goes down the hill, under brakes, up the inside goes David Gonzalez, no room.
Here we are then, this is it. It's a big battle royale at the front. That half a second, well, unless they've got something special up their sleeves, then Bahosa, Daniel, Borg, Ogiwara, etc. might well be out of it. Daniel getting pushed back further from Ogiwara. He tries to rail him out the outside. Multiple lines at play there then. Oh, and he's got Marulanda for company too. So Ogiwara fighting 4th, could be fighting for 3rd. They fan out. Here's a big overtaking spot. Fernandez holds his line in front of Gonzalez. No way through this. Oh, no, there is. Gonzalez gets him on the cutback. Down the back straight they come.
Absolutely superb. And the crucial thing is that they've all got slipstream. So David Gonzalez leads, but Beñat Fernandez and the rest have a slipstream down the back straight, flat out in 6th gear. Hard on the brakes now into the left-hander, and it's all to be sorted out. It's going to be messy into the final corners, surely.
Christian Daniel has a big moment. Straight back on the gas. Goodness me, that was nearly him out of the race. Fernandez up the inside.
Perfect move from Beñat Fernandez. He has to hold him off now.
Brilliant.
But up the inside, surely the number 11 is going to have another go into the fast corner. There's no green there, that's okay.
He's going to try.
11 up the inside, down!
He goes down!
And Beñat did superbly to miss him. Poor old David Gonzalez falls, but it's Beñat Fernandez. Beñat Fernandez wins across the line.
And it's Ogiwara 2nd place, Marulanda 3rd. He gets it!
And I think there's another faller at the last corner that we just saw in the background.
Oh!
Unless it was
no, I think it was Gonzalez, yeah. Well, he had to try. He had to try.
He did try. And Beñat, was he lucky or was it genius that he avoided the fall?
I think it was Da Costa and Karpushin maybe also down.
Yeah, I thought there was another faller at that final turn, but it could have been Gonzalez picking himself up. What a genius. What superb from Beñat Fernandez. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. What a race, Peter. So, at the end of that then, goodness me, well, it was Bahosa 4th place, and Borg 5th, Mounsey 6th, Singapong 7th, and Daniel 8th. Here's what's happened then.
Right,
Gonzalez, well, he's never making it.
The chattering starts, he's just too late on the brakes, it's all going wrong, and yeah, there we go. Look,
you commend him for trying, but it was never going to work.
But I mean, I think, sorry, Beñat, you have to count himself lucky there. Beñat was a passenger there, really, and it's just fortunate that David got far enough in front that he didn't take the front wheel away from Beñat Fernandez.
Yeah, cracker. Poor David Gonzalez. Yep, he'll rue that one. That's 2 non-finishes for him. That's not good for his championship chances, but it's great for Beñat's championship chances. What a ride that was. Ogiwara, though, wow, second place for him. The Colombian, Marulanda, third. Couldn't be happier for him. And as we see, unfortunately, Guillaume Plonk, 3 seconds penalty for insufficient time to complete a long lap penalty. You assume that is track... Oh, no, it's a shortcut at turn 10, not track limits. And David da Costa did go down. I think car pushing got caught up in that because he finished in 19th.
Yeah, turn 10, that's the right-hander of the chicane off the back straight, so presumably he didn't make it through the left-hander, cut across the right-hander turn 10, and now gets penalised for that. Oof.
Wow, cracker. That's what we like, Peter.
You think so?
Yeah, really, yeah, great way to kick off the Rookies Cup action this weekend.
And, you know, give credit, you know, Mounsey and Singapong both put in their fastest laps of the race on the final lap. Yeah, so they were pushing to the end. Superb.
Riders, if you're wondering where they're going, they're being sent back to the Rookies Cup tent, which is half a mile away, unfortunately, from the paddock. But the others will go to Parc Fermé. It's like going on a plane. Although when you go on a plane, obviously you want to be sent left, and everyone else sent right. You're with the peasants like me.
Wow. What a race. And Ogiwara, he's, you know, I think he's given fair warning, as is Marulanda, you know, but we knew Marulanda from Jerez was quick, but Ogiwara's given fair warning that he's somebody to be reckoned with.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, fantastic. You know what I love about Rookies Cup this year? You just never tell who's going to be there.
That's right. It's all these new guys, so strong, you know. And we've got the chaps who are in their third year, looking around and saying, "Oh my goodness, where have all these new guys come from?" Yeah.
I mean, it's like Christian Daniel, one of them. Sort of, he was in contention for that podium, but then just too hard on the gas coming out of turns 9 and 10, and well, 8th place it is, but only a second off the win.
That's right. It's the tiniest of mistake, isn't it? It's the tiniest of mistake that instead of being on the podium, you know, he's only got medium points.
That's what we're working with here, though. Ryota Ogiwara, fantastic ride. Well, asked him yesterday how you feeling about everything this week, and he's like, yeah, it's good, not good enough, etc. Classic. A little bit like Taio Furusato, his compatriot, would say some similar things. Not happy until he's on the podium or the win, and
just downplay things, don't they? You know, brilliantly, really. Yeah. But I mean, interesting that the Benyak couldn't get away. He was super confident going, and of course the confidence was justified. He won the race, but you know, it didn't go according to plan. He really wanted to split, disappear, and there was no way he could get away with them.
Semitani and Veda Pratama, graduates from Rookies Cup, gone down to congratulate Ogiwara.
Yeah, and it's great, you know, to watch things like the Moto3 qualifying without giving anything away. You know, Brian Uriarte won the race here last year, and just to watch him in qualifying, you've really got to watch qualifying for all the classes, but Moto3, of course, with so many ex-rookies there. Fantastic stuff from all of our guys. Right, well, let's see who Dominica's going to talk to first. I can't wait to get to hear what
I think it must be
what they think of this.
Matteo Marulanda, but it sounds like the result would be confirmed this time then. So the Colombian does get his first podium in Rookies Cup at last. Here he is with Domi.
Matteo, congratulations. Were you expecting these results today?
I expected, because I feel with pace on the race, but in the quali I made a mistake in the second lap, and now it's so special for me to be here because I work a lot for this and I'm so happy. And I want to thank you to Petaka, to the Red Bull Rookies Cup, and to all the people that support me.
Well done, great job.
Well, actually, you know, sort of podium position, even if he got penalised last time in two successive races. He's announced his arrival in Rookies Cup, hasn't he?
Yeah, cracking. I mean, following the footsteps of compatriot David Alonso, another fast Colombian. Here we are then, the number's 27 this time around. But what about second place? Ryota Ogiwara, welcome to Rookies Cup. Take it away, Domi.
Ryota, what a wonderful race for you, your first ever podium in the Rookies Cup in your first year. So tell us, how are you feeling?
Yeah, today was so tough race. Then I made a good start from the 13. Then I could battle in the first group. Then I don't know what I make, but finally I can get podium second. So happy.
How are you feeling for tomorrow's race? Confident?
Yes, I have confidence for tomorrow race too. Yes, let's focus and let's see.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, good lad. Really, really cool that. Great to see him do the business already. Look at the flex on the fairing zone.
Yeah, see the buffeting from he's getting the slipstream off the bike in front, and that's sort of buffeting the fairing around. Superb, isn't it, to see that? Yeah, great bit of slow-mo. But fantastic to see the Ogiwaras, the Marylanders, first year on the podium.
But second year for Beñat Fernandez, he's first. Take it away, Dummy.
Beñat, everything went as planned today, and here you are. You won the third race of the Red Bull MotoGP Rookies Cup.
Yes, I'm very happy. I know I had the pace to be on the front all the laps. I didn't want to go so much to the back, but I just wanted to see who was on the top positions also. Also around there, Ogiwara, Munsi, Tavis, David. And yeah, I'm very happy to be first. On the last lap it was all or nothing, because I knew that if it's today or any day, no? Because when you have the chance you need to take it. And yeah, I'm very happy. I worked a lot yesterday to have my own pace, and yeah, I'm very, very happy.
Well, tomorrow we have another race, and it's very early in the morning, 8:45, so that means the track might be cold and wet. What's going to happen with the settings?
Well, the setting is going to be more soft for all of us, but let's see. Hopefully it's like last year. And yeah, I'm very excited for tomorrow also, because I think I'm really good rider on the wet, so I think I can do a very well race. So yeah, I'm very excited for tomorrow, and I'm very happy to be first again.
Well, superb performance. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, who's going to stop him?
Well, quite right, because even if it is wet, well, that's where he actually got his first win here last year, didn't he, in the wet conditions too. So very, very strong in the wet and the dry. Beñat Fernandez certainly in command here in Rookies Cup thus far.
And you see the bike moving around the front, moving around there. And he said, you know, the bike's not perfect. It's never perfect. But he said it's predictable and rideable. You can just, I love riding it, he said.
That's what this is about. What does that do to the results? The main results, you know who the podium is. Fernando Bajosa got 4th, ahead of Travis Borg 5th. Well done, that man. Sullivan Mounsey 6th. Well done, that man. Singapong 7th place. Christian Daniel just behind in 8th, ahead of Plonk, Ramadipa, Pugliese. Ethan Sparks up at the 12th. That's pretty solid, because didn't he have a monster crash yesterday? I thought I saw someone take a photo of it. He massively went out the front door with that one. Tinez 13th, Dakigan 14th. Alejandro Fernandez takes a point in 15th. Absolutely brilliant. That'll be her first point in the dry this year, as far as I know. And yep, so great progression from her. Van Krooten 16th, Borelli, Agostinelli, Carpush, and Costa and Schmidt, the last of the finishers. What does that do to the championship then? 22 points back, Fernando Bajosa. Oh, dear me. Well, young David Gonzalez pushed into 11th spot, up from a rider that you would expect to be up there, battling near the front. He's got it all to do if he wants a shot at the title, doesn't he? Bajosa 2nd place then, well in command too. 4 points ahead of Ramadipa. 34 points Singapong. Ogiwara 32. Marulanda 29. Christian Daniel 24. Carpush 20. All to go. Plenty of time left for things to fully change, Peter.
Yeah, we know that, don't we, from previous year, just how it can reverse itself completely in a couple of races here. But what a sensational third race of the season. Cannot wait for tomorrow already. You know, I hope it's one thing or the other. Let's hope it's wet or dry. You know, the sort of the drying track. Well, it was fun last weekend, but it's an awful lot more simple if it's either completely wet or completely dry. And there's the podium here, the Red Bull MotoGP Rookies Cup podium. Looking very nice there, and a great selection of flags on the podium. Once again, of course, we have 19 different nationalities represented in Rookies Cup, and here is one of those. He's nearly forgot his helmet. Thank you, Christina, for bringing the helmet along, and that's a 3rd place man. And now our Japanese flag, so we have got now the Spanish flag, and our championship leader, race winner, Beñat Fernandez. Marulanda, of course, the Colombian, and Ogiwara, the Japanese. And there is the trophies for second and third being awarded by Sarah Lizzetto, a Red Bull athlete, an absolutely fantastic stunt rider. She's doing stunts here this weekend. She's a stunt rider, but she's also a double for the likes of Scarlett Johansson in movies. There is Luke Ackermann, the German freestyle motocrosser. He is going to do an incredible jump here in front of the main grandstands this evening. For all the fans who are actually at Le Mans, they've got something very special in store from Luke Ackermann. So if you want us to have more Red Bull MotoGP Rookies Cup action, wake up early tomorrow morning, 8:35 Central European time. The show starts. All races live on Red Bull TV, Facebook and YouTube, Red Bull Motorsports channel. Until then, it's goodbye from Matt Dunn and myself, Peter Clifford.
These are the highlights from Red Bull MotoGP Rookies Cup Race 1 in Le Mans under very sunny skies and a huge crowd. All riders got away cleanly. It was Beñat Fernandez from pole position storming away in towards the lead with second place Sullivan Mounsey hot on his tail. It was a great start for Fernando Bajosa up from 5th on the grid into 3rd, but Ryota Ogiwara, the Moto4 Asia Cup graduate, stormed his way through into contention, battling it out for the podium throughout the race. Podium finisher last time out on her F, Fernando Bajosa, the number 69, really made his bid for the lead, the podium and the win, but he had Christian Daniel, the American number 70, to contend with as well, and it all came down to this. The final corner with David Gonzalez going for the win, going for broke, and unfortunately he did break the bike. Beñat Fernandez took the win ahead of Ogiwara and Matteo Marulanda, who finally gets that podium that he so richly deserved last time out. What a race that was! Beñat Fernandez, your winner. See us tomorrow.